1, 2, 3, 4. I feel like time has slipped away from me. No consequences, I'll just drink myself to sleep. Where have all the good men gone, and where are we? Brought out for show and tell and put away for another week. I don't know why I feel so bad. I don't know why I feel so sad. I'll drift away in the daylight, always looking for a clue. Never thought it would be you. Drift away in the daylight, look at something new. Never thought it would be you. In the daylight,
Hello and welcome to the Bristol's Local Artist Podcast. This is episode 4. Today I am joined by Echo Culture at their studio. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for having us.
Nice to meet you. So introduce yourselves. What are your names?
I'm Jack. I'm the lead singer.
And I'm Josh, I'm the guitarist. And this is my little hovel of a studio that we're in today.
Yeah, it's quite a nice little cozy little garage type studio. It's quite nice. You've got some soundproofing. First of all, a bit about yourselves. When did you start? When did you start individually playing music? What made you start learning stuff like that?
Oh God! So I started playing acoustic guitar when I was 14, which I'm 32ish now, and so that's me playing just like basic chords for about 2 years, never touched electric guitar, and just kind of, I don't know, building up my skills from there, and then kind of graduate to electric guitar. My first electric was a Les Paul, played a lot of like Led Zeppelin and things like that there, and then I started joining jam bands when I would have been like 16, 17, they never went anywhere, like they never do, and then just kind of, I don't know, fucked around for a long time, and then it got to lockdown. And I think during lockdown, we were all like, "Oh, we'll do something. We'll finally do something I've been meaning to, like play a lot more guitar and write a lot more." And I just didn't.
Yeah.
And so it got to like the end of the kind of lockdown 1, 2, 3, the terrible sequels, and I just wanted to really do something with it because it was just like my guitar and this sat in the corner mocking me, and so I just started to write again. After about 18 months of not playing guitar, and then just started to try to find people online, and I met Tom, and then we kind of started this band. So that's how it kind of started and got to the point of starting this band for me.
For me, I went to uni to study theatre, and they cancelled my course, so I jumped on a music course.
What uni cancelled your course?
Falmouth University. I don't want to out them.
Out them, no.
But yeah, no, I deferred a year, went travelling, and during that year they cancelled the course. So when I got there, I had no course to go. There was a theatre course to go on to, but it wasn't what I was expecting. So I switched over to music and carried on from there.
Okay, so did you ever play any instruments, or was it all vocals for you?
I mean, I can string out a tune on a guitar. I can keep a rhythm on the drums, but no, I'd say I'm a vocalist. I just sat.
I've seen you play piano sometimes,
and a little bit of piano, but not much. I wouldn't go on stage and play it.
No,
like I would sing.
It's like catching a kid doing something naughty when you see Jack playing the piano.
Yeah, that's it.
I can't do it.
Okay, so you've gone into a bit about how the band formed as well. How did you choose the name Echo Culture? Where did that come from?
So we kind of went through a couple like versions of names. Nothing really stuck for more than a week, and I think we had a band name before this one, which was called Culture Run, and I think we got a lot of feedback saying, "Oh, that's Culture Club, but just different," and we were like, "Yeah, that's right."
Yeah.
And you kind of clung on to the word culture, so then we were just kind of playing around with that a lot, and we just kind of really landed on this after a while.
Yeah, because I think with the name culture, you can have a lot of imagery, different imagery for different things on that. So that's how we landed on that.
Yeah, well, one of the hashtags I always use is Bristol culture. I always think that music is, well, art in general is what makes up culture. So it's a strong word to choose, and then you're echoing, so I guess if someone says, "Oh, you're a bit like this band," then it's echo culture. That works quite well.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us as well, listening to so many bands, I think we kind of agree 90% of the band names are really dumb.
Yeah.
So it's not like a deeper meaning for us, if we're completely honest. It's just like, I don't know, what's available, because all band names are taken now, unless you're doing like Blink 183 or something like that.
In which case you just got to be a Blink 182.
Yeah. Blonk. So no, I think, most of the bands we like, if you really sat down and looked at it, you go, Foo Fighters, well, that's a fucking dumb name. But
yeah, you just take what comes to you in the moment. Or someone will say something to you. For me, I make music under the name Gamma J, just because a friend of mine called me Gamma J once. It kind of stuck. And yeah, so it's you just kind of work with what you've got, with the inspiration that hits you, I guess.
And then just check it's not a rapper on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Yes. You don't want that like lawsuit 3 years down the line, which is the other thing. Okie dokie. So your music. So you're quite a rocky band. So how would you describe your own music? That's a nice question. I love it.
I mean, we come from like a lot of backgrounds of playing different music. We both kind of played a lot of metal in like previous bands before, but we listened to a lot of different stuff. I think we're not so much metalheads anymore.
So who would you say influenced your music?
Yeah, go on. So I grew up listening to a lot of new metal, like System of a Down, Korn. I was like at the right age being at school for that sort of shit. And I, as these guys all know, Jack knows and the rest of the band know, I love Queens of Stone Age, which has influenced like my music a lot. That was my reason for playing guitar. Yeah. Initially, I remember seeing a song called Sick 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 off their Era Vulgaris record, and I just remember seeing that on Krang going, what was that? Yeah. Like, that was completely different to what I'd heard before. So a lot of that, a lot of Korn, a lot of System of a Down. It's just what I used to play in like my first metal bands back in the day.
Something I've forgotten to go through is the rest of the band. Who's in the rest of the band?
Oh, they're not important.
They're not important. They're not here today, so they didn't show up.
So we got Tom on the other guitar.
Yeah.
We have Ben on bass, and we have Simon on drums.
Yeah. So Tom and I kind of started it initially. He and I met first, and I was looking for a guitarist who basically wasn't me, wasn't someone who's overly riffy. He just kind of has this kind of really unique, different sound to me and to other guitarists, so that's why
gives a bit of variation.
100%. And he's also the one who's been kind of engineering and producing a lot of our first singles that we've put on Spotify. So we've done a couple of DIY ones, Daylight and Thrill Seeker, and we're putting out another single in about another month, which he does all for us, so he's got that great engineering background. Ben does our content as well online, and Simon's a fucking shit hot drummer. If you've seen us live, you'll know that easily.
It's hard. It's when you find a good drummer, you got to hold on to them.
Well, I guess with drummers, you've got to find someone that can keep the beat and accepts the fact that their role is to sort of tie together the beat more than anything else. You can do all those crazy fills and stuff, as long as you can keep it together. So you mentioned that you've got a couple of singles out. Where can we find them?
So they are in all good bookshops. They are also no, they're not. They're on Spotify. They're on Apple Music, on Bandcamp. I don't know where else people listen to music these days, apart from those three main places.
All of them.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
yeah.
Okay.
So we've got Daylight, which was our first single, which came out back in October. That was one of the first songs we ever worked on. I think me, Tom, and Ben, because before Jack joined, we'd had like a version of that ish, kind of prattling around, and then you came in. I think you sang on that.
Yes, I did.
And that was one of the songs where I was like, okay, so it's this guy, he's our vocalist, because you just like went straight in on that. That was a fun session as well, because we were doing that, and that was with a previous drummer before Simon. We're doing that, and we played Daylight, and then we played Go With The Flow by Queens of Stone Age. And I don't think you knew it was Go With The Flow, because I was singing it, and then you just started putting your own vocals on it, and it sounded really good. But I was like,
we can't use that.
I don't really know Queens of Stone Age that well, so
no. So you just started singing your own thing. So Daylight was one of the first ones we did, and so it kind of felt right for us to put it out first.
Yeah.
Even though it's probably like middle of the road for us. It's not some of our lighter stuff. It's not some of the kind of really heavy stuff we play. So it's kind of like we don't have many songs like that, but it just felt right to put that one out.
So with writing music, it sounds like you write music in the play something and they'll play something on top sort of way. Is that?
No, I would say Josh does probably most of the writing. Like the riff, and then have an idea for the bass maybe, and have a rough idea of where the drums should come in, maybe how they sound. But yeah, then it comes to us, and we sort of tinker around with it and change bits. But we're all pretty open to scrapping things, saying that's rubbish, that's great, let's do this, cut that, put more of this. So we're all very kind of lenient towards each other.
You've always been quite receptive if we say, "Can you change a lyric as well?" Which is
nice.
Yeah, because some vocalists are like, "No, this is my lyric." So your voice.
I'm not tied to them.
No, you're quite open with that, which is nice. And yeah, the band will kind of write stuff. And for me, it's like, there's no point being in a band if I just say, "Here's what you will play."
Yeah.
That's not being in a band.
Yeah,
That is
you
having
get
musicians.
some musicians like that, and it can get a bit. I guess some people are just a bit less. That they want to play music, but they don't have the sort of creative buzz of it, which I guess if it works for them, it works for them. But like you said, you'll find that people get bored of it after a while. Cool. So upcoming gigs, what have you got coming up? I think you've got one next week, which this might not be out in time for.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We saw you then. I know you loved it. So yeah, we played a show last night in Bristol, which was really fun, with a couple of really great kind of local artists. Indy Arkin, who's like just moved down from Newcastle, who's like a really chill acoustic one. And Frankie Jones, who's over in Bath. So that was a really fun one last night.
It was a good one.
Weird one, because it was a bit of a funky night, and then we were like really heavy in the middle. But next week we've got Zed Alley in Bristol. We're playing that kind of metal night there, so the complete other end of the spectrum for us. But that's going to be a fun one with Shadows of Icarus, who are kind of headlining that show. Yeah. So that'd be a great one. And then we've got a week off finally, after a few weeks. And then we're up in Hereford on May the 8th at the Jam Factory.
That's right.
And then the next day we're at the Green Rooms in kind of Pontypridd over in Wales, so our first international gig.
Two countries.
Well, I technically work in Wales.
2 nights
now,
and 2 countries. There you go. And then we've got a couple of weeks off because we're kind of starting to write stuff to add to the set. And then we're playing at Far East Festival in London on May 31st. So yeah,
That should be a good one. So
that's really fucking great.
London, that's another international.
There you go. Yeah.
No, I don't know. And so, what can we expect from you guys at the gig?
You're going to prance around like an idiot, like you always do.
Yep, that's it. That's mainly it.
Mainly it. Yeah, I mean,
Are you expecting mosh pits or type thing?
we haven't had a mosh pit
We haven't
yet.
had a mosh pit yet. No.
We nearly had one last
I'm
night.
gonna ask for them normally. Like, if you say to the crowd, "We want a mosh pit," normally someone will start one.
I don't think we're quite there yet with our music to warrant a mosh pit. So maybe some of the newer stuff we're writing, maybe, but
Yeah.
Gotta put a heavy breakdown in there somewhere.
yeah.
We did end on a fucking heavy breakdown last night.
We did.
That was fun. There's a song the last song we wrote, Back From Below, which I think we might record. We need to.
Yeah.
have that conversation. But that's a really kind of heavy one that just ends on this kind of hardcore slides and just it's really fucking low end and it's great. But at a funk night last night, I think a lot of people were like, what?
Yeah, because it was like semi-acoustic support, then us pretty rocky, and then funk. But I mean, it did work out. But
Yeah, I mean, it can be a bit complicated sometimes when, particularly at the start of the lives of bands, when bands are quite small, and you just, if someone's offering to work with you, you sort of take it. And sometimes you can have some quite eclectic mixes of genres, which I think is quite nice because I like a lot of different genres. So it works quite well for me. But I know that there's a lot of people out there who are like, I like my one genre and that's the one I'm going with. And I don't understand those people.
Different strokes. I mean, our set's just so different because we've got some heavy songs to start with, and then we had some kind of really chill light stuff in the middle, and then it ends on really heavy stuff as well, just because of we like loads of different stuff. So
eclectic.
Yeah. There's a song coming out soon called What If, and I don't think we'll get a mosh pit for that anytime soon.
No, it's a very slow one.
It's a very slow
one.
A bit of a ballad.
So when's that coming out? Do you have a release date, or are you?
No, not yet. Not at all. No, it needs to be.
Let's put pressure on Tom. Let's say next week.
No, I think there's possibly more stuff that needs to be done to it. But it should be soon, in the near distant future.
So sometime start of summer type.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Probably.
Yeah, I would say June time.
Yeah.
Are you playing it at gigs, or are you?
We are.
Yeah, again was one of the first ones we did. So when we found Jack, we found him through a Facebook ad, on Facebook Marketplace. We found him, and I'm still trying to figure out what fans of what kind of bands we would play for. And I put Queens on the list. I put stuff like Deftones on the list because I like some of their kind of lighter stuff in Deftones. Fucking great live. And I put Nothing But Thieves on the list because I really like Nothing But Thieves. I think some of our music kind of touches on that realm a little bit.
There's hints.
And I got really lucky because you love them.
Yeah, I do love them.
And I think I remember you saying either that night or a couple of nights after, you were umming and ahhing about coming down. And then your wife was pushing you to come down because it's like, there's Nothing But Thieves bands. There's no one else there.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was just sheer luck that I put that name on the list.
Yeah.
And you kind of jumped down on it. And so I knew you'd like them. And then I kind of went away and I need to kind of not write something Nothing But Thievesy, but something more to that vibe that we didn't have in the current demo set. And so I went away and wrote What If. And that was one of those ones that some songs of mine will take like months to write. Yeah. And What If was like a couple hours, really? And then like a week after we met, I showed you this, and that was like, that's the next one we're doing.
Lyrics done.
Yeah.
Scope.
And that was like Daylight. What If was on the set, and then we had a couple others that we previously worked on. So we've had What If knocking around now for
a while,
close to a year. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I think we've covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover on that. First of all, I'd just like to thank you guys, thank Echo Culture for having me round here and letting us give them a bit of an interview and hopefully play a song in a bit.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. And I hope that we can. I hope to get along to one of your gigs sometime.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be lovely.
Brilliant. Okay. Do you have anything you want to say, or are you?
No. Hi, Mum.
Awesome, cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will hopefully see you guys in episode 5.
In the daylight, yeah. Oh. Hate me, break me, take my heart, forsake me. Beat me down with every stroke. Lift me up with your choke. Holding it rolls on like the death of the sun. and I find you in the words I write, in the daytime or the dead of night. I don't know why I feel so bad. I don't know why I feel so sad. I'll drift away in the daylight, always looking for a clue. Never thought it would be you. Drift away in the daylight, look at something new. Never thought it would be you. In the daylight, in the daylight, yeah. I don't know why I feel so bad. I don't know why I feel so sad. I'll drift away in the daylight, always looking for a clue. Never thought it would be you. Drift away in the daylight, never thought it would be you. In the daylight, in the daylight, in the
Hit the bag like halfway through.
Yeah, I heard that, yeah.